Tanks have always been considered the main ground equipment of any army. Modern machines have gone a long way from previous developments. They have stealth, increased protection, and more powerful weapons. Today we have prepared for you a selection of 10 tanks that have recently been upgraded and meet the most stringent requirements of our time. But among them there are those that are still in development. You are watching the Caro Show channel. Let's start. M102 Set P3. In 2019, General Dynamics received a contract from the U.S. Army to upgrade 174 M101 Abrams tanks to M102 Set P3 levels. The work was completed by 2021. The 3rd Tank Brigade of the 1st Cavalry Division was the first in the U.S. Army to receive upgraded M102 Set P3 tanks. The modernization includes the installation of the latest radio communication complex, which allows you to maintain radio communication with all elements and combat units of a prospective U.S. Army Combat Brigade group. The tank has the latest version of the complex of protection against improvised explosive devices with remote control. The M102 Set P3 received an upgraded fire control system for firing using 2 types of shots, a multi-purpose one with a programmable fuse and an armor-piercing subcaliber. As for protection, a modified Rafael Pro VHB active protection system is installed on the tank. The fire control system has also been improved, which has ADL equipment for firing using 2 types of shots, the multi-purpose high-explosive KM-1147 Advanced Multi-Purpose with a programmable detonator, and the armor-piercing subcaliber Advanced Kinetic Energy. Arjun MK1A. The Indian Army received the Arjun MK1A tank. The mass of the combat vehicle is 68 tons, which makes it one of the heaviest tanks in the world. The combat vehicle was the development of the Arjun MK1, which began production in 2006 and was built in the amount of 124 units. Initially, they wanted to release it in a series of more than 2,000 units, but then they gave preference to the proven Russian T-90. The reason was the unreliability of the undercarriage of the Indian car, as well as a number of other difficulties. In the end, we decided to create a modernized version. Arjun MK1A received 71 improvements over the earlier version. 14 of them are called significant. On the new machine, the shells in the ammo rack are placed in individual protected containers. A 120mm rifled gun was modified to use new types of ammunition. Arjun MK1A received Indian-made dynamic protection and improved composite armor. Other improvements include the commander's panoramic sight and an improved gunner's sight with the introduction of a target tracking machine. Leopard 2PL. Leopard 2PL upgrade variant of Leopard 2A4 tanks for the Polish Army. The level approximately corresponds to the German Leopard 2A5 and A6. The contract for the modernization was signed in February 2016 by Poland with the German company Rheinmetall in the amount of 220 million euros. Due to the additional reservation from 56 to 60 tons, the mass of the tank increased. The Leopard 2PL modification differs from the Leopard 2A6 version in a cannon. The 2A6 version is armed with the RHL 120L55 gun. However, thanks to the modernization, the gun got the opportunity to fire new, more powerful projectiles, due to which the overall firepower of the tank increased. Also, mounted composite armor was installed on the tank, which significantly improves protection against certain types of ammunition, increased ballistic protection of the tower. A camera was installed to improve visibility for the driver and a new surveillance system for the crew. An automatic fire extinguishing system was installed and the ammunition load was increased. T-72M1. In mid-May 2021, the Iraqi People's Militia presented a new model of the upgraded T-72M1. Now outwardly they have become similar to modern Russian main battle tanks 90s. The main innovations of the updated tanks are built-in dynamic protection kits, which are installed on the turret on the frontal part of the hull and on the sides. Aft projections are covered with lattice anti-cumulative screens. Due to this, fatal damage will be significantly reduced after being hit by enemy rocket-propelled grenades and guided missiles. During the overhaul, the Caterpillar tracks were completely replaced, which became asphalt running as a result of the introduction of rubber shoes. The sight has also been improved. There are new means of communication. The main armament was a Soviet Mount 125mm to a 46mm smoothbore gun coupled to an automatic loader, which reduced the combat crew to 3: driver, commander, and gunner. Leclerc XLR. The main battle tank Leclerc is one of the main symbols of the French military-industrial complex. As it became known, soon the Army of the Fifth Republic will receive a modernized version of the famous machine. On June 1, 2021, the Leclerc XLR General Directorate of Armaments of the French Ministry of the Armed Forces issued an agreement providing for the modernization of tanks. It involves the serial modernization of the first 50 combat vehicles. Their transfer to the armed forces began in 2022 and will last until the end of 2024. Leclerc XLR will receive equipment for integration into the network system of the French Army Scorpion. In addition, they will improve the fire control system, install a laser irradiation warning system, Galex multispectral smoke jamming systems, a radio suppression system, a new diagnostic system, and a number of other elements of onboard electronic equipment. They plan to strengthen the firepower of the vehicle with new armor-piercing subcaliber and cumulative shells. A remotely controlled combat module that is designed to protect against manpower and narrow-speed, low-flying targets. Altay. The development of the Altay tank has been underway in Turkey since 2008. In November 2018, the Turkish Defense Industry Directorate signed a contract with the Navy for the production in 2 stages of the first series of Altay tanks from 250 vehicles. At the first stage, 40 Altay T1 tanks will be assembled. At the second stage, another 210 Altay T2 tanks with improved armor and weapons. The contract also includes material support and training of personnel. The mass of the machine is 60 tons. The existing samples received the main stabilized gun of 120mm caliber and a 13mm machine gun. The tank can reach speeds of up to 70 km per hour, and its power reserve is about 500 km. Last year, it was reported that a new Turkish tank could be equipped with a 4-stroke 12-cylinder water-cooled diesel engine with a capacity of 1,500 horsepower. The adoption of the Altay tank into service was expected before the end of 2021. However, during his speech, the President of Turkey stated, "The first Turkish-made Altay tanks are planned to be transferred to the Turkish Armed Forces at the beginning of 2023. M60TM. Turkish tanks M60TM in the course of modernization received additional equipment that significantly improves their ability to conduct combat operations. Work in this direction began with the active assistance of Israeli specialists. As a result, the combat vehicle developed back in the late 50s received a reservation that significantly changed its appearance. The old 105mm cannon has been replaced with a 120mm cannon capable of using more effective ammunition. The fire control system has also been improved. It was also decided to equip the tanks with active protection systems that are capable of destroying incoming anti-tank guided missiles and rocket-propelled ammunition from hand and heavy grenade launchers. After all the innovations, the combat weight increased to 59 tons. And to maintain acceptable mobility characteristics, a diesel engine was installed. The maximum speed on the highway can reach 55 km per hour. Fuel range is 450 km. MGCS, product of joint development of specialists from Germany and France. The new tank, which should enter the market in 2035, will tentatively be named MGCS. and will significantly outperform the German Leopard 2 in terms of performance. The crew of the new tank will consist of 2 people. Its reduction in the crew of Leopard 2 consists of 4 people is driven by the desire to provide autonomous driving cars. The MGCS will be equipped with a gun of at least 130 mm caliber. For comparison, the Leopard 2 has a 120 mm cannon, and in the Russian Armata 14 with a caliber of 125 mm. Moreover, the shells for the MGCS cannon will be longer and, as expected, will have greater penetrating power and speed. It is planned that the new tank will have a hybrid engine, and in combination with lighter and stronger armor, will consume less fuel, will be able to stay in service longer without refueling. The costs of designing a new car will cost, according to preliminary estimates, €1.5 billion. All in all, a new generation of tanks could cost France and Germany $100 billion. T-64 BVK. Developed back in 1985, the command version of the T-64 BVK is still in service with the Ukrainian army. Naturally, in many respects it is already outdated. For example, in order to contact the headquarters, the tank was forced to stop and put up a high mast, which in combat conditions could end tragically. Therefore, there is a need to modernize this machine. Before the start of the war with Russia, the Kharkov armored plant was engaged in similar work. In November 2021, an updated command tank was tested. The plant could produce 4 such machines per month. On the machines that have come to modernization, modern surveillance devices and thermal imagers of Western production are installed. System for monitoring the rear hemisphere with satellite navigation equipment. The T-64 BVK tanks get a new commander's cupola with a machine gun whose protection has been strengthened. An additional surveillance camera for the vehicle commander, new rubber metal cranes and anti-cumulative screens on the stern. Now upgraded tanks can observe the situation on the battlefield while being in cover up to 2.5 meters high. M102D. The U.S. Congress approved the allocation of $65 million for the modernization of the M102D Abrams tank, which should be carried out by the manufacturer in the city of Lima, Ohio, which is owned by General Dynamics. The main goal of the modernization is to extend the life of the combat vehicle and integrate the unmanned turret and other innovations of the war of the future into the Abrams. The next step of the program is to be approved by the U.S. Senate. The future modification of the tank will have the designation M102 SEP-V4. In addition to an unmanned turret, such a combat vehicle will be equipped with a third-generation sighting system that will combine an optical electronic station with a color image and a laser sight to help identify enemy targets further than ever before. Also, the M102D should receive a hybrid power plant, an updated active protection and booking system, and a fire control system that will be based on artificial intelligence. Which tank did you like the most from this video? Write in the comments. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new videos. The Karo Show team was with you. Bye.